With AI and the internet today, there is no reason to not be learning every single skill you want to learn. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the exact steps of learning a new skill online, because it's actually a little bit harder than you think, but if you can learn this method, it becomes way easier to learn a skill and you can apply it to your life way better. The important part is that you don't limit yourself with what skill you want to learn. You've been taught in school and you've been taught by a lot of the people around you that you need to learn this one specific skill, and when I give you this subject, you have to focus on the subject, because if you focus on the subject and nothing else, you'll do well. But in reality, life is more of a blend and a mixture of multiple subjects and multiple topics and multiple skills that you need to have a big mixture of. So if you really want to learn about swimming, don't think, all right, well, I have to learn about science or business or math. Learn about swimming for now. And don't limit yourself, because all of the skills make your life better in some way and stack up, even if it doesn't seem that relevant. Next, we're not gonna do what most people do, which is we're not just gonna go online and search up how to do this skill, like how to do swimming or how to run a business or anything like that. What we're actually gonna do is go onto a website like Reddit or Quora and find people who have asked a similar question and then look for the advice and the recommendations people gave. So for swimming, you would go to a swimming subreddit and see if anyone's asked the question like, hey, I'm new, I'm getting into swimming, does anyone have any advice? And then read that advice, and then also read the recommendations, because those people are gonna guide you to the videos and to the YouTube channels that actually will provide you with the most advice. And the reason I personally think this works way better than just searching up the skill online is because you get real human input and you actually get people's advice on why they think those videos are good. And that's why I think this is better. Then here's the real crucial thing to take your learning to the next level. And I hate saying learning, because whenever I say learning, I just think people think about school. But the thing that will take your knowledge to the next level is not learning from the person they recommend you to learn from, but learning from the person that person recommends you to learn from. And obviously, if the person doesn't recommend any books or any other people, still learn from them. But if you can go down to the root source, the person who taught them, then that person's gonna recommend you to someone, and then you can learn from the person who taught the person who taught the person. You go down this huge chain, and now you've learned from so many different people. Through all this, your goal should not be to memorize. If you just memorize things, I truly believe you aren't smart. A dog can memorize that when you grab the leash, it means it's going for a walk. Just memorizing stuff doesn't make you smart. What makes you smart is understanding. And this is another reason why school teaches you wrong. They teach you that when I give you this textbook or when I give you this thing, memorize as much as you can and keep it in your brain for the test. And then after the test, who cares if you remember it? You passed the test, okay, you did well. Now let's move on to some other shit. But in real life, especially when you're learning a skill for no test, you're just learning the skill to learn the skill. Just memorizing stuff so that you can sound smart to others for a little bit to forget it after won't take you anywhere. So you need to develop a deep understanding, and you develop a deep understanding by rewatching things. Truly, not just watching through it and trying to memorize, taking a bunch of notes and stuff. Like, taking notes is fine, all that's fine, but by trying to understand it. When someone says a principle, don't be afraid to pause the video, search it up, go deeper, understand the why. Don't just memorize the how. When you're learning a skill like finance or when you're learning a skill like business, if you don't have a deep understanding of it and you just memorized all the terms and you sound all smart because you can walk by people and you'd be like, the CTR, Bro, this is the bullshit all of us used to do. We'd go online, we'd search up some business things, and then when people would talk to us, we'd be like, yeah, so the KPI and the EBITDA, and like, we just throw out these random fucking terms and stuff, and people are like, holy shit, this guy really knows what he's talking about. But in reality, you don't know anything that you're talking about because you've just memorized these random terms, and you probably know a lot of people who just memorize stuff and don't actually understand it. And guess what? It's probably not going to impress people if you understand stuff, but it's gonna serve you way better. Don't memorize the stupid things, understand the important things. Rewatch the podcast, rewatch the course lecture, rewatch as much as you need to until you understand it. Go deeper, spend more time. People are too worried about being done with the course. Yes, I read this book. Now I can go tell people I read 55 books this year, a book a week. That's stupid. Understand the book. If you need to reread a page 4 times and it's gonna take you 3 weeks to read this book because you're really trying to develop a deep understanding, you need to reread pages. There's nothing wrong with that. But people nowadays are too worried about the Instagram, taking the photo, oh, I just read all these books, oh my god, look, they don't even fit in my hands, I gotta put them on the stupidest shit that you see nowadays. That isn't gonna serve you well. I promise none of these people, if you ask them, tell me the 3 core things you learned from the book, they'd be like, so like they wouldn't know what the fuck they're talking about. But if we're being honest, that's most of us with most topics. So try and understand stuff as best you can and don't be afraid to make it take longer than necessary. Finally, practice in the real world as much as you can. This is another thing. I know this video has been a lot of steps of like, school hasn't taught you right on this, school hasn't taught you right on that, but in reality for these skills, like the way you learn to learn in school does not help you with these things. It's that you've been taught that when you're in school, that's the time to learn, that's the time to apply, because when you're applying and you're learning in there, that's when you get the grades. You don't get grades for applying and doing the things outside of school, you get it for doing it inside. So you learn and you develop this mindset of I should only learn and only apply the knowledge I'm learning in school. But most likely you aren't learning the skill just to get a grade that doesn't actually say how intelligent you are. You're learning the skill to help your life. You're learning the skill to make more money. You're learning the skill to be better at socializing and talking to friends. But you're not learning the skill to just get a grade. You're learning it for a reason that has intent, and the way that you're actually going to acquire the skill is by applying it. And so the world becomes your classroom to develop a better understanding and apply and learn from your mistakes and learn new things from this skill. And if you're thinking, well Adam, actually the skill I'm learning isn't very applicable in real life, then my question to you would be, why are you learning the skill in the first place? If you want to get a free PDF of the most important skills for young men to learn, go into the description. I think it could genuinely save you some serious time. Stay smart. See ya.